Zinc in the presence of TRT is much more important than I think people think. Zinc acts as a transcription factor for steroidogenic factor 1. P450C17, which is an enzyme that converts your DHEA into testosterone, is actually zinc dependent. Without zinc, you don't convert your DHEA into testosterone. Zinc has an uncanny ability to inhibit aromatase, right, at mild levels, but enough levels for some people's TRT protocols to just help people dial in. So it's estrogen control as well. Zinc is a key regulator. I mean, this is important for people that are on HCG and want to keep functioning testicles and adequate ejaculate volume on TRT. Key regulator of spermatogenesis. And it does a host of other really powerful things. I want to break down each of the papers that are relevant to these topics to encourage people, because it's not one of those supplements that you take on TRT and, like, you know, you get some marginal effect or you don't notice it. Like, you will notice the effects of zinc on TRT and they're all going to be positive. All right, look, before we start the video, Cortex Labs is a performance optimization and hormone consulting company for men. We've got a range of different products ranging from the Torque Nootropic stack, which, by the way, right now is buy one, get one free. It's Adderall without the side effects. The code's in the description of this video. If you don't get it, you're missing out. Yeah, literally BOGO right now. Source List, our most popular product, a compilation of trusted sources for anabolics, ancillaries, and hormone hacking agents, including DHT, Proviron, anything you can think of. Get that down in the description of this video. And lastly, I'm a coach on TRT protocol restructuring, where we either have a one-off call with me where I'll redesign your protocol, or ongoing one-on-one work for serious sexual dysfunction, among other things. You can hire me for any of that stuff in under a minute at livecortex.com. All right, to kick this off, first paper I want to bring us to is titled Zinc Improves Sexual Performance and Erectile Function by Preventing Penile Oxidative Injury and Upregulating Circulating Testosterone in lead-exposed rats. So if you expose a rat to lead, there's all kind of negative changes relative to testosterone production, as well as oxidative stress and injury in the penis, which induces erectile issues. What they ended up finding is that the study reveals that co-administration of zinc improves lead-induced sexual and erectile dysfunction by suppressing exo and UA-driven oxidative stress and upregulating testosterone via NRF2-mediated signaling. There's all kinds of gems in here, like in addition, zinc alleviated lead-induced upregulation of penile activities of acetylcholine esterase. Acetylcholine esterase is an enzyme that breaks acetylcholine down. Acetylcholine is very necessary for penile nerve transmission for erectile function. It's actually necessary from the brain downward in the beginning cascades of arousal. And a choline esterase or acetylcholine esterase works to clear acetylcholine from the system. Zinc induced an alleviation of that problem and lowered acetylcholine esterase, thereby allowing more acetylcholine to be there for muscle contraction and erectile function in these rats. So in and of itself, zinc is a pretty powerful supplement to take to maintain a high quality erection status. Another paper, you know, relative to, well, your loads. It's titled Impact on Seminal and Serum Zinc on Semen Quality and Hormonal Status. This is a cohort of young Russian men. Go on to conclude, based on the results of our population-based study, seminal zinc levels were closely associated with semen parameters in young men. So a zinc deficiency may be an important risk factor for lowered semen quality. Zinc is actually a substrate for seminal fluid. So those of you that don't want to take HCG because you just don't want to mess with it or raise estrogen too much, take zinc, take soy lecithin or any otherwise lecithin, sunflower lecithin, and your ejaculate volume is going to increase substantially. I've repeated this over and over again. But back to the DNA transcription part of this, which again, what this would really do, having extra zinc in your regimen, in addition to increasing seminal fluid and inducing spermatogenesis or aiding that process, what you're really looking at is an upgrade in the responsiveness of androgen receptors and their complex processes genetically that facilitate the response in androgen responsive genes. I mean, you want your ARs as primed as possible, and you want the genetic sequences that take place after ARs are bounded to be as optimized as possible, and zinc is one of those things that does that. In this paper titled Effective Folic Acid and Zinc Supplementation in Men on Semen Quality and Live Birth Among Couples Undergoing Infertility Treatment, they go on to say that most supplements for male fertility contain folic acid and zinc. Zinc is essential in spermatogenesis as a component of steroid receptors, metalloenzymes involved in DNA transcription. They then say, furthermore, zinc's high concentration in seminal fluid, this is the fluid that ultimately makes up a lot of your ejaculate, is approximately 30 times higher than in the blood. So your body, in its like all-knowing intelligence, siphons zinc to the seminal fluid in 30 times higher concentrations than in your blood. Now let's talk about estradiol and its effect on estradiol. Anecdotally, I've seen zinc lower estrogen on labs, so actually can lower estrogen. Now I think there's a stopping point at which it can't really lower estrogen anymore, depending on your androgen load. And I have searched far and high across the web to find the mechanism of action for this, and there really isn't very clear literature on it. But the hallmark paper that you might have seen already is titled "Dietary Zinc Deficiency Alters 5-alpha Production and Aromatization of Testosterone and Androgens and Estrogen Receptors in the Rat Liver." And what they ended up finding is that hepatic or liver conversion of testosterone to DHT, very fucking critical thing that needs to happen for people that are on TRT, was significantly less. So this is in zinc deficient diets, but formation of estradiol from testosterone was significantly greater in the rats fed a zinc deficient diet compared to freely fed and pair fed control rats. What this ultimately suggests is that not having enough zinc, especially in the context of like where you have excess aromatization, you have excess aromatization regardless with TRT, compared to your normal state, leads to a greater formation of testosterone to estradiol and less of a formation of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone. That is, interestingly, exactly one of the primary detrimental mechanisms of finasteride-induced sexual dysfunction. Finasteride siphons your testosterone into estradiol and prevents it from converting to dihydrotestosterone. Thus, you get penile shrinkage and erectile dysfunction and loss of libido and all these negative things that happen with finasteride. So with enough zinc in your regimen, especially guys on TRT, you're going to convert more to DHT, okay, to a certain threshold. You don't want to be overdosing zinc. We'll get to doses here in a bit. And you're going to convert less of your testosterone into estradiol. These are all good things. Now here's a really interesting one, again, on the note of estradiol. This is a paper that's titled "Low Zinc Levels May Contribute to Gynecomastia in Puberty." And they go on to conclude, stuff that we already know, which is the growth of male glandular tissue, okay, basically gynecomastia or man boobs, can be induced by estrogens. Therefore, increased cellular levels of estrogen can be one of the underlying causes of gynecomastia. And again, if you are zinc deficient or you have low levels of zinc, you're more likely to be converting testosterone away from its powerful androgenic actions of converting into dihydrotestosterone and instead, right into estradiol, leading to, and especially in these cases of pubertal gynecomastia. Last thing I want to have us look at so that people have a real clear understanding, like to not overlook the significance of zinc in a TRT regimen, is just how important zinc is in all of the steroidogenic stuff that takes place, especially as it relates to intratesticular hormone environment and testosterone production, spermatogenesis, but also like conversion of pregnenolone to other hormones. Basically everything relative to Leydig cell function, testicular function, even cholesterol turning into some of these other sex hormones is like zinc dependent. This is the study's proposed hypothesis of a zinc pathway that might enhance testosterone production. Zinc may increase testosterone through two hypothetical pathways in the Leydig cells: antioxidant action. Okay, so this kind of goes back to how zinc helps erectile function by reducing oxidative stress in lead-fed rats, and steroidogenic enzyme interaction, as we see down here on unit number 3 here, with zinc playing a major role in pregnenolone's conversion. In the cytoplasm, zinc coupled with proteins further stimulates NRF2, such as zinc protein A20, thereby neutralizing pro-oxidative and inflammatory extranuclear and intranuclear pathways which impair Leydig cell, which are testicular cell, metabolism. Zinc by itself is able to directly inhibit NFKB in the nucleus as zinc increased through the expression of steroidogenic enzymes. Again, relative to pregnenolone, at the mitochondrial level, zinc acts with P450-SEC. This is an enzyme in the formation of pregnenolone through enzyme-coupled reactions. Again, this is pretty critical since the enzyme P450C17, which converts your DHEA into testosterone, is zinc dependent. Okay, without zinc, you don't convert your DHEA into testosterone. You're not going to convert some of that testosterone to dihydrotestosterone. You are not going to therefore convert that DHEA into intrapenile dihydrotestosterone, which is another really benefiting factor of the use of exogenous DHEA in the context of a TRT protocol. Like, boys, zinc is absolutely positively critical for a good TRT protocol. Let's talk about dosing. First of all, for all intents and purposes, I think that zinc gluconate and zinc picolinate are the best zinc to use. Now, you can use zinc citrate because it's a little more soluble in water. You could use zinc sulfate, but that is very, very highly absorbent and usually causes stomach upset. If you get nausea with zinc, it's probably because you're taking zinc sulfate. So just stick with zinc gluconate and zinc picolinate. To avoid what might be a reduction, okay, I think there's a breaking point at which zinc starts stopping conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. You don't want to take any more than 50 milligrams a day. At the same time, to avoid excess inhibition of aromatase, which zinc has the ability to do, you don't want to take more than 50 milligrams a day. But lower than that is where people are going to find the most beneficial effects without it messing with anything. So quite honestly, I found like somewhere to the tune of 12.5 to 25 milligrams a day, or 12.5 to 25 milligrams every other day of zinc on top of TRT to be the best dose range. Interestingly, I'll give you an anecdotal real quick. If there was a couple times where I didn't have my hands on aromasin and that's what I wanted to use, uncycle to lower estradiol. Had some Arimidex, just didn't want to fucking use it. The whole purpose at that point, because I would have just left estrogen alone, was I was basically having erection issues. In the meantime, before I got some aromasin, I started dosing zinc. I was dosing 25 milligrams a day of zinc picolinate. Interestingly, in that time, erections immediately started getting better. I'm talking about later on that day after dosing zinc. Like, it's that powerful, it's that effective, it's that fast acting. Every time that I've got zinc in my regimen, my ejaculate volume is better. I am more horny. I have a better libido, like when zinc is in the picture, even in the presence of testosterone, high levels of androgens, right? Adequate estradiol, a DHEA, pregnenolone, and the right dose of HCG. My libido is better when zinc is in my protocol. So 12.5 to 25 milligrams a day of either one of those zinc concentrations or zinc preparations is my suggestion. You'll have to play with the dose and see if maybe you can tolerate 50 milligrams a day. I personally can. It lowers my estrogen a little too much. I start losing libido after a certain threshold. It's actually hard to determine exactly what's happening there. But the right amount of zinc, the right dose, as is the case with everything else, revitalizes people's TRT protocols, and you really want to consider bringing it in these concentrations to get optimization of not only seminal fluid, but spermatogenesis, intratesticular testosterone, a balance in the conversion of testosterone into estradiol, a optimized conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, therefore, a decrease in penile oxidative stress, and increase in penile endothelial function. All these things are going to help erections. Of course, optimizations of the seminal fluid. Don't sleep on zinc, okay? It's much more important than people think. It in and of itself, especially with people that are suffering from sexual dysfunction on TRT because your protocol's not straight, you got to remember some of these other trace elements, supplements, otherwise chemicals are necessary for all of the sexual functions. It isn't just as easy as testosterone, estradiol, DHT, HCG, whatever. All these other things matter, and zinc is a major player in all of this. All right, boys, again, as I said in the beginning, I'm a coach on TRT protocol restructuring. I mean, the primary thing that we do is take people with bad protocols and fix their protocols. I've seen everything under the sun. I know how to fix protocols to make them optimize, and my specialty really revolves around sexual function on TRT and androgens in general. So you can hire me for either a one-off call or a ongoing one-on-one package. If you have the budget, book me ongoing and long-term. You're not going to regret it, and we'll fix a lot of stuff that you may not be able to fix by yourself. All right, again, boys, the Torque Stack, which is a nootropic that I built. It's very, very powerful and very, very noticeable. It's like Adderall, but you just don't get that mind-numbing side effect, and it works predictably every time. It's buy one, get one free right now, okay? You buy a bottle, you add a bottle to your cart, you enter the code torquebogo at checkout, and it'll tack an extra bottle that ships to you for free when you buy a bottle. We're literally giving away free bottles of Torque right now. Code is down in the description of this video. Again, source list, our most popular product. I put together a compilation of trusted vendors for stuff that you can't get anywhere else, including dihydrotestosterone or DHT powder, DHT gel, Proviron, Cialis, test of all esters. I mean, you want to try test suspension, test acetate. You want to circumvent your clinic and get testosterone propionate because they don't have it anymore. Whatever you need, it's on the source list. Get it in the description of this video. All right, boys, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you. Hope you guys had a great New Year and holidays and Christmas. We are back in action now. We're going to kill it for the month of January, so look forward to that. Like the video, makes a huge difference, right? Huge difference out there in the algorithm. Really means a lot if you hit that like button, right? Means a lot, bro. Hit the like button, bro. Sub to the channel if you're new here, because we do breakdowns like this all the time on all pertinent, relevant aspects of TRT, hormone optimization, sexual function for males. Rock on, kick ass, and I'll talk to you boys on the next one.